I'm Jack Patty, and this is the Senior Minute, successfully serving seniors.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Senior Service Commission's The Senior Minute. Today we have with us Ms. Kim Gooch, Senior Advocate. Before we get going, just to remind folks that this is one of a 3-set videos of the topics that Ms. Gooch is going to bring to us. Are your ducks in a row? So welcome, Ms. Gooch. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Can you just give a brief intro again about Are Your Ducks in a Row?
Sure. So Are Your Ducks in a Row turns out to be a guidebook or workbook for families and seniors to work together to complete, just so that they can learn together, plan together, and age and end well.
Very good. That sounds like a good thing to know how to do. So thanks to you, you defined what ducks was. The first one has to do with decisions. Can you go into a little more detail about that section?
Sure. So again, one of the reasons that I decided to put this together is because when I was working in home care, when I was working in senior living, I would see many of the same patterns with families, and most of the patterns were, they would be a little bewildered when they would come in because we'd ask certain things, maybe they wouldn't know it. You could kind of tell there was just a disconnect just because there wasn't a plan. It's not that they don't want what's best. It's not that they don't have a plan in their head. It's just that no one's really shared it. And so decisions are really important. When you read some statistics, we find that only about 50% of people over 50 have an advance directive. And then more alarming related to that is only 1 in 3 of us would guess our relatives' wishes correctly. So it would behoove all of us to have our advanced healthcare directive in those decisions made and shared with their family so that we don't have to leave that to them in a moment of crisis. Crisis brings with it emotion, stress, and nobody wants to make those kind of decisions when it's on the cusp of all that. So healthcare decisions, who's going to be the healthcare surrogate, who might be the power of attorney, do I need different ones for healthcare, a different one for finances, who's going to look after my affairs after I'm gone, who's going to look after my pets, what do I want to do with my body? Maybe I want to donate it to science, or perhaps I want to be cremated. And so I need to have those conversations with my family because there are different cultures and different beliefs that feel strongly about some of those things. And so it's best for families to discuss those before it's time to make that decision. So if we can get through the D section of the book, we'll lead you through how to make those decisions, where to find the forms. In no way does that negate the need for professional advice. I think you should always work with a law professional, an elder care person, someone that you trust to get these things in place. Your last will and testament talk about giving things away. Lots of families keep the antique chest because they want to give it to daughter number 1, and daughter number 1 wants nothing to do with the chest. Don't be offended by that. Let's go ahead and have a conversation because there could be somebody else in the family that would be very meaningful to. So let's go ahead and give it to that person. So just having those decisions and thinking through some of them will help when you do get to the moment that you need that decision made. And then U is just, it's just really a checklist and an explanation of why you need certain documents together. Things like your birth certificate, marriage certificates, divorce decrees, mortgages, deeds, if you have military service records. There's a whole myriad of stuff, a long checklist of things that we feel like if you apply for some benefit somewhere or you apply for admission to a senior living community, they're going to ask you for many of these things. Once you're gone and your executor of your will has to take care of your affairs, they're going to need many of these documents. So let's talk through the checklist and let's get them all together. Let's let someone know where they are. Let's keep them together nicely and organized. And if we don't have something, let's find out where we need to apply for it and let someone know that we've done that. Subscriptions, auto pay accounts, all those things just kind of need to be organized, and someone needs to know about them and where they are and where to find that information. And then
So
C.
to just interrupt you, so that is the useful records section.
Correct.
The U being the second. Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you.
And then the C chapter is just almost completely, well, there is, I think, one worksheet in there, but it's a chapter to educate you about all kinds of care environments that you might be interested in knowing about. So most of us say we want to age in place at home. Some of the statistics around that are kind of scary. 77% of people say they want to age at home, but recently there was a study released that said I think only like 60% of people really can afford to entertain that idea. And I just spoke with a friend of mine who continues to work in private home care, and she was telling me that 24/7 care for home care could be anywhere from $18,000 to $23,000 a month.
Wow.
If you need round-the-clock care. So aging in place at home is a wonderful sentiment. If you need 24-hour care, it's going to be expensive. If you're going to stay there, you're probably going to have to make modifications. You're going to have to reimagine home, and I have a dear friend here in Lexington who works on that project. And there's all kinds of ways to rethink about where you live and what you call home. There's all kinds of support programs to help you age in place at home. So we go through them. They're all different. Home care versus home health care. What's a village model that could be available in Lexington? Just all kinds of support ideas that we talk about. And then if you choose to live outside the home, there are all kinds of different care settings, and we try to educate you about those in that particular section of the book. And then K deals a little bit with kids and kin. And so we all know that we say that kids are a blessing, and they usually are, mine included. But you know, sometimes families live with an a strange relationship, or certainly, you know, things happen. And so let's try to all get on the same page. Let's try not to go through the end of our life with regret, perhaps. Perhaps something has happened in our family that was very difficult 10 years ago. Maybe I couldn't accept something that I could maybe revisit and maybe be more apt to accept at this point. So if there are things that we can work through, let's do that before it's too late. Let's get our kids and kin, and let's live like a village, taking care of one another as best we can. So we just talk through a lot of things about living with your offspring and your extended family in that particular chapter. And then S is probably the most important part of the book. From my standpoint, it's probably one of the primary reasons I ever started on the project to begin with. And this S stands for the story of you. There is only one you. Your intergenerational family needs to know who you were. They need to know the life's lessons that you learned. And I don't think I could be wrong. The story, my grandmother's story, played a very important part of her care when she was in a skilled nursing home living with Alzheimer's. And so her care changed once her caregivers knew her story. So if you are dealing with those kinds of memory loss issues, the more your caregiver knows about your story, the more dignified and compassionate they can be in the delivery of care for you. And so it becomes paramount at that point. But it's still important no matter what. And I don't think I could be wrong if Taylor Swift is singing about it. So my daughter just recently shared with me that she wrote a story about her grandmother. And in the, she wrote a song about her grandmother. And in the song, she says, "I should have asked you questions. I should have asked you how to be. I should have asked you to write it down for me." And I think that's a beautiful sentiment about how important your story is too.
Mrs. Gooch, thank you very much.
Thank you.